Great place to visit, but in the context of football, the Red Blacks are trying to change that. Last time they were here, they won at home for the first time in nearly 2 years, but this is a pretty tough out against the 4-1 Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Dwayne, and it's been a rough week for Ottawa. Last week losing in Hamilton, but more importantly losing Jeremiah Masoli in his first game back in a year. So on comes Dustin Crum, the rookie, to make his first CFL start.
Yeah, a scene that's become all too common, I guess, here in Ottawa, is having to break in a new starting quarterback. Dustin Crum did a pretty good job, I thought, coming off the bench last week against Hamilton, acquitted himself well. But this week he's got to face Willie Jefferson, an absolute monster on that Winnipeg defensive line.
Mike O'Shea, 86 wins as a head coach with Winnipeg, tied with Cal Murphy for second all-time behind Bud Grant. Could pass him today. And Bob Dice, Winnipeg native, got his start in the CFL 20 years ago with the Bombers, but this is first year as a full-time head coach, and it has had its challenges, especially as quarterback, as Dwayne had talked about. The Red Blacks won the toss. They've deferred, and so Winnipeg will take the ball from the east end, and it's Greg McCrae, who is one of the returners. Johnny Augustine, there he is, the other. McCrae had a big day as a receiver, had a touchdown last week against Calgary, and he also nearly returned a missed field goal for a touchdown, standing in for the injured Janarian Grant. Richie Leone to get things kicked off for the Ottawa Red Blacks as Week 6 continues here on the CFL on TSN doubleheader day. Into the hands of McCrae across the 30. As McCrae gets it out to about the 39 for Zach Collaros, the two-time reigning MOP, who comes in 4-1, 31-5 in the regular season since joining the Blue Bombers.
Yeah, and he's provided so much consistency at the position and really helped a team that was on its way to becoming Grey Cup champions. Obviously, they completed that run in 2019, repeated in 21. Such a fixture, such a huge part of the success in Winnipeg in recent years.
And tied with Vernon Adams for touchdown passes this season with 9. Top-rated quarterback so far in this young season. On the first down, Winnipeg. Brady Oliveira in the backfield, the leading rusher. The fake to him. Collaros gets it away to his right, and that one is high. It was intended for Rashid Bailey with the coverage from Brandon Dandridge on the field side corner.
Yeah, as we take a look at this, the starting lineups will set up a great matchup here today. The league's reigning most outstanding offensive lineman, Stanley Bryant, at left tackle today. We'll get to that matchup as we go. Greg McCrae coming off a terrific game both on offense and special teams for Winnipeg, piling up the yardage as he plays in the slot.
3 receivers out to the wide side. Oliveira in the backfield. Out of shotgun, Collaros over the middle, and no. A 2-and-out. That's intended for Nick Dembski. And starting at safety on this day is Alonzo Adai with the injury to Justin Howell, and helping break that up to force the Bombers to punt.
Yeah, and you see Adai playing down low, right off the top, hovering over the middle, quickly making a break on that ball to take it away from Dembski.
And so Australian Jamison Sheehan in his first year in the CFL back to punt, and we saw Dandridge a moment ago on defense and back doing the returning now for the Red Blacks. He has 1 punt return for a touchdown in this season. Sheehan, a classic end-over-end style, and gets a beautiful roll inside the 10, and it does roll into the end zone. Dandridge lets it do that to give up the single and get some better field position as well. But a nice punt by Sheehan, who was hoping to hem them in deeper. So Dustin Crum, a star at Kent State, and he came up to the Red Blacks last September on the practice roster. He went in last week after the injury to Masoli, and he did make quite an impression, Dwayne, with his ability to run the football.
Yeah, he really did. And we didn't see him try to push the ball deep in that football game, but I thought for the most part, in terms of managing the passing game and obviously what he did with his legs, that included him running for a touchdown. A guy who definitely hops on the radar as an intriguing quarterback prospect, but tough matchup for him here today.
Here we go, his first start, and he's throwing off to the left, and that one too far for Justin Hardy. It heads out of bounds. It is 2nd and 10.
Taking a look at this starting lineup, an O-line for Ottawa that includes the former Bomber first-round pick, Drew Desjardins, big off-season signing for the Red Blacks. And in that receiving core, with the young guy playing quarterback, we'll keep an eye on Nate Bahar today. He's a guy I suspect could be a little bit of a safety blanket for Dustin Crump.
Bahar, the veteran out of Carleton University, nearby. 2nd and 10. Off to the left, it's complete, but not for much. Just across the 40 is Hardy with Adam Bighill, the leading tackler, moving in on him. And so a quick 2 and out for the Red Blacks.
And Ottawa not taking any big chances, obviously, in their first series with Crum at the helm.
Leone standing back at just outside the Ottawa 25. Lone returner back is McRae. Down inside the 20, bobbles it, but does hang on and gets it up across the 25. Adam Leclerc among those down in special teams coverage. Zach Collaros coming back on for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Start for that Winnipeg offense. Stamps had the lead, tied at the half, but progressively, Collaros went to work, ended up 20 for 28 and a couple of touchdown passes, including that one to Greg McRae.
Yeah, McRae, who's an interesting Swiss Army knife type of weapon, making his way into that Winnipeg starting lineup. Just adds that dimension of speed, elusiveness, and versatility.
Ball is handed off to the CFL's leading rusher, Brady Oliveira. Also the leader in yards from scrimmage in the CFL. Short carry there. He has 400 in 5 games coming in.
Well, Brady Oliveira has provided that seamless transition in the Winnipeg backfield from the legendary Andrew Harris, of course now a Toronto Argonaut. Fittingly, both guys coming from the same Oak Park High School program.
He does pick up 3. A 2nd and 7 at the Winnipeg 30. Collaros steps up, facing the heat, and completes it to Drew Wolotarski. Enough for a first down and up across the 40 for Winnipeg. And Collaros stood in until the final moment before getting rid of that ball.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is just demonstrating the veteran presence of Zach Collaros. You see Mike Wakefield's going to provide some pressure, pocket closing in. But Zach just stands in there, bodies all around him. You can see it's like throwing out of a phone booth for the Bomber quarterback, but he knows that route's going to come open. He just has that faith to stay put.
And Wolotarski, too, has 3 touchdowns on the season, receiving over 200 yards, on pace for his best season in his CFL career. Back to the ground and tough against that Ottawa defensive front. Have a look at them.
Yeah, we talked about the matchup for Stanley Bryant today as most outstanding lineman. Well, he's going to see a lot of the league's reigning most outstanding defensive player, Lorenzo Malden, who led in sacks last year. Now, in the linebacking core and in the secondary, I want to talk about a couple great recent draft picks, guys I really like for Ottawa. You have Adam Leclerc starting at middle linebacker, number 6 overall in 2020. Alonzo Adai in today at free safety for Justin Howell, number 13 overall back in 21.
2nd and long again. 9 to go from the Winnipeg 42. Collaros. Deeper ball. Open receiver 2. Nick Dembski has it inside the Ottawa 35. And a big first down for that Bomber offense on the move.
Well, once again, you've got pressure coming in. Defensive line, or offensive line has to hold up here in order to be able to complete the long pass. Watch Bryce Carter trying to get there.
Wow. Ball comes loose. Quickly working again, and Collaros does fall on it for a loss. So near disaster after a big play, a 35-yard gain to Nick Dembski. But that one pushes them back outside the Ottawa 40.
Yeah, just a little bit of trouble with the exchange, obviously. Shake that one off, but a tough 2nd and long situation here.
And a loss of 9 for Mike O'Shea's Bombers. As the crowd, much beleaguered as it's been in 2023, does pick up the energy now. And 2nd and 19 as Collaros is forced to step up, and he is taken down. It's Blessman Ta'ala in his first year with the Red Blacks, product of University of Hawaii, and he gets the sack. And that is his first sack of the season.
And Ta'ala's been a nice pickup for Ottawa this season. First overall pick in the global draft. He's been a starter from day one here for the Red Blacks on their defensive line. One of the rare global players that has come in and had that kind of impact, making his way into the starting lineup.
And so Sergio Castillo, whose longest field goal this season is 50 yards. And he is 11 for 11 coming in, and this one from 52. The Sheehan putting it down. Straight as an arrow. Splits the uprights. Beautifully done as Castillo remains perfect. 12 for 12 on the season. And 3 more points on the board to go along with the Rouge. And a 4-0 Winnipeg lead. Justin Hardy and the Red Blacks.
I want to take a look back. This is the difference between holding them to a field goal and giving up a touchdown. So you're going to see Coleman having words here with Nick Dembski as they make their way towards the line of scrimmage. And it came together and bumped there. That gives Winnipeg second life on the drive, and they turn it into a touchdown.
And so much after the play, the field goal unit was coming on. Castillo was already on the field when Coleman committed that foul, and yeah, that's a 4-point difference right now. You would have to assume with a short field goal try they were going to be faced with for Winnipeg. Instead, they put 7 more on the board. It's an 11-0 Blue Bomber lead over the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Late in the first quarter, under 2 minutes to go until quarter time. Brendan Dandridge back to this kickoff. One of the 2 returners back to get it. It's Jackson Bennett at the 15. And he gets across the 30, lost the ball momentarily. It looked like he was able to scoop it back in. Yes, he did. So it will be Red Black football. They don't need that the way it's going. Willie Jefferson, part of the damage so far in this game for Winnipeg, picking up his 7th sack of the season. Looking to go to work again on the Red Blacks and quarterback Dustin Crum when we come back. Drive by the Bombers, as we talked about, aided big time by a penalty, Dwayne.
Yeah, and a couple of big plays along the way. Quick slant. Shoshone got it started. Nick Dembski off play action. Pushing it down the field. The deep one to Wolotarski. There you had Rasheed Bailey setting them up in close. We talked about the penalty earlier.
So movement along the line on first down, and that one incomplete, intended for Nate Bahar by Dustin Crum.
Yeah, you mentioned that movement. It looked to me like Willie Jefferson was a little early on the play, but uncalled. You see Dustin Crum getting on the move a little bit, trying to find Nate Bahar. Abu Darami Soiree. Nice new addition to that Blue Bomber secondary.
So a tough start for Dustin Crum, who's 1 for 3 for 0 yards, and it's a 2nd and 10 at the Ottawa 34. Empty backfield. Oh, he's taken down. It's Adam Bighill, the blitzing middle linebacker, coming in and sacking Dustin Crum. First sack of the season for Bighill, and it'll force the Red Blacks in a 2-and-out just to kick it away again.
And you see Adam Bighill lined up left side of your screen, right up on the line of scrimmage on this one. Quick loop all the way around. Had the interior offensive lineman occupied by D lineman. He looks like he's going to rush on the tackle, but then loops it in. No way the tackle could track him in there the way they set up that stunt.
So nothing going right at all for the Red Blacks offense so far in this one. Half a minute until quarter time now. Winnipeg with an 11-point lead, about to get the ball back, and should get it in decent field position as well, with Greg McRae and flags coming out beforehand.
Time count violation, Ottawa number 13. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
You can sense the unrest, understandably, here at TD Place. The way this game has started for Bob Dice and the Red Blacks, pushing them further back, and now McRae standing up at the Winnipeg 40 to receive this Richie Leone punt. Just inside the 40. He gets away for a moment and then down on a knee. Lonzo Atai had been charging in. Well, how's this for a way to start things off tomorrow? Novak Djokovic chasing his record 24th Grand Slam title, and in his way, young phenom, Dwayne Ford's favorite player, the young Spaniard, Carlos Alcaraz.
Love that guy.
Men's final from the All England Club. And it begins at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific, only on TSN. I'm a big fan as well. I mean, this kid, I think even Djokovic would admit, he is the future. He's going to win a pile of Grand Slam events, already has.
AJ Leopold, love you. Just another day at the office.
Another day for that man, Adam Bighill's climbing the charts all time and tackles too. Had the sack of Dustin Crum earlier. Winnipeg with the ball again, 11-point lead. Swinging it out, it's low, but it is picked up by McRae.
Yeah, nice job scooping that one off the shoestrings by Greg McRae, and doing it in stride as well.
And that was the last play of the first quarter. The Bombers came in as a heavily favored team, and you got a good indication in the first 15 why. Field goal, touchdown, 11-point lead through one. 11-0, and yes, Dwayne Ford, the numbers do tell the story, don't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, Winnipeg has carried the play so far. It shows the difference in experience between these two teams.
Well, here's a guy who you know from the studio most recently, and now he's with us in the booth for a little while, and he's going to be doing more for us in the booth. And also happened to be head coach of the Ottawa REDBLACKS, and back in the day head coach in Winnipeg and an offensive coordinator, winning a Grey Cup with the Bombers as well, Paul Lapalisse. Welcome. First of all, you know, you're getting a little taste of what Dwayne Ford's doing. Observation so far from this point?
Yeah, I wasn't on the panel, so Dwayne was great to invite me in because I got a color gig coming up in a couple of weeks.
You're going to be doing a few games, three games this season?
3 games this season, so excited to be with you guys and learn from you and work.
Yeah, hey, when you see Bob Dice and going through 4 quarterbacks and 5 starts, you must feel some of his pain given what you had to go through last year.
Yeah, no, what a great leader, and Bob will get him sorted out.
Ottawa challenged the previous play of a completed pass. After review by command center, the challenge is successful, and the play was overruled to be an incomplete pass. It will be second down, Winnipeg.
So that was the one, Greg McRae, when it looked like he was able to scoop it off the turf.
Yeah, apparently he didn't quite get it before it hopped here. Despite the nice effort, you can see very clearly. Great job from our truck with the replay.
And a good challenge for Bob Dice. We're mentioning Lapo and the challenges that he has faced so far this season. So 2nd and 10 at the Winnipeg 33. Flag is out. Ball is away. It falls incomplete. And Collaros had to get rid of that one quickly.
Yeah, they had Lorenzo Malden that time on a twist, working all the way to the middle. He was the guy in Collaros' face. I think that was as much of a throwaway as anything for Zach.
Yeah, you will see if that was the penalty came from the Ottawa guys. I'm not sure. We'll see as they go.
But do finish your thought, though.
Offside, Ottawa number 37. 5-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
So that's Dandridge. But I mean, a lot of challenges for Bob, and you know this market well, just when you don't have the stability at quarterback.
Yeah, what's hard at times is, certainly you got a young football team. They're playing good defense. Then you have the injury to the quarterback, and that puts you in a difficult situation when you have that injury to the quarterback. And, Bob will get them sorted out playing week to week.
Bomber ball on a 2nd and 5, and that one intended for Bailey. And just falls incomplete. Abdul Kenneth, like he thought he had a shot at that one as well.
Yeah, you know, both times the safeties have done a great job of driving the underneath routes, right? They're really coming down on these dig plays. You'll see kind of come down on this, and he's playing a high player, comes down, almost makes a pick right there.
And thought about it. Didn't see him doing the push-ups. Sometimes we do see that, the penalty push-ups. So 2 back for the return for the Red Blacks, anticipating this punt by Jamison Sheehan.
Yeah, you saw Sheehan with a low punt earlier to get it on the ground, making it tough to handle. So Ottawa wants to make sure they get the whole field covered and catch the ball, preferably in the air.
And Dandridge took it off the hop, and he gets it up near the Red Black 50. So a good place for Dustin Crum to start in this, his first CFL start. He came off the bench last week after that awful injury to Jeremiah Masoli. And even though he threw 3 interceptions, Lapo, he did make an especially good impression when he decided to take off and run.
Yeah, you know, you want a quarterback who can create with his legs. He's 6'4", but he rushed for 800 yards in college. He's got the ability to create with your legs because you're not going to get people open all the time. What he was able to do is create some first downs, put the ball in the end zone, using his legs.
Here's Crum now, 1st and 10. The Ottawa 49 and handing off. Devontae Williams, as mentioned, injured the last few games and back in the lineup now for the Red Blacks, getting it up across the 50. But getting back to Dustin Crum, how well did you know him while you were still head coach here in Ottawa?
Yeah, I had a couple of weeks with him, and an interesting story was I was coming home from spring break with my family, and he kind of called, and I had the Lapalisse family truckster. Everyone had to quiet down. I'm talking to this quarterback, and you're trying to talk to these guys and educate them about how great our league is and everything about it. You know, you still know they're going to interception right there.
The DeMario Houston, and that's his 4th of the season. He also has 6 takeaways coming into this. That's number 7 for him.
Yes.
So another Ottawa drive quickly snuffed out, that time by turnover.
It's a throw to the boundary. You're going to see a curl right here and a guy out in the flat, right? Good decision here. I like the decision to throw it. He just doesn't locate it very well. He ends up putting it on the backside, right, and puts it in a bad spot, so the ball's interception. Good decision, right? And again, another interception for Houston, who's doing a hell of a job this year.
Lapo just showed up to visit and watch. Now we got him telestrated. Oh, nice tackle, chasing down Brady Oliveira for the Red Blacks, and the weak side linebacker Frankie Griffin for a loss in that play.
Lapo knows if he's going to come to the booth, we're going to put him to work a little bit.
I'll tell you, Frankie Griffin, like, he was a nickel or a defensive back when we had him 2 years ago, and then last year Mike Benavides put him into will linebacker, and we just weren't sure because of his size. And I'll tell you, the first week we ran a counter play, and he blew up the tackle, pulling up into the hole. And you know, he's a very good young football player. He's only going to get better and better.
So the stat for another very good defensive player for Winnipeg, DeMario Houston. It's a 2nd and 12 after the loss of 2. And a look off to the left near midfield for Schoen. He stays on his feet. He stays in bounds. And looks like he has a Blue Bomber first down for some good work after the catch for Dalton Schoen.
Yeah, you know, and certainly the defense have done a good job. I mean, every time Zach's getting the ball out of his hand, he's getting hit. Somebody's hitting him, but the receiver's done a really good job breaking tackles to create the first down yardage.
Terrific second effort there from Dalton Schoen. You know, a lot of the talk in Winnipeg was about him coming back looking even bigger, stronger, more fit this year than he was in his outstanding rookie season.
Good job breaking the tackle by the boundary corner, DeAndre Lamont, not able to wrap him and hang on. So a first down to the Ottawa 47. Winnipeg ball in an 11-point lead, 2nd quarter, and nowhere to run. Maybe a yard, a push there by Oliveira to get closer to the 45. Some tough running inside. Lorenzo Malden, we talked about last year's Defensive Player of the Year, in on that tackle.
Yeah, and you can see Zach was kind of concerned. That was they were running a zone read, and Malden came down, and he didn't pull it. So you could see him point to himself right after. I should have pulled it and gotten out on the perimeter.
I wanted to ask you a little bit, just going back to Frankie Griffin. Just wondering, was the moving of the hash marks last year for you guys a consideration in getting maybe a more mobile guy in that position?
Yeah, it made it much easier, because obviously that position, has to cover more ground now that the hashes are tighter. So we felt that was a good move to be able to do that.
Bombers have been in second long a lot. There's a deep look, and it's nearly intercepted by Alonzo Adai. He and Dandridge were back there with Schoen, right with him, and Adai smacking himself in the helmet for not coming up with that pick.
Yeah, we've seen Adai a couple times showing some frustration. You see him looking like he's going to hang low, but then getting deep, ranging to his right, left side of your screen. Had a little bit of a bump on Dalton Schoen as he arrived to the ball. There's the aforementioned Frankie Griffin on the blitz, supplying a little bit of pressure on the play.
Yeah, that's the one thing you knew about Adai, Dwayne, coming out in the draft. He had range, playing in West Virginia. He was a kid who could run and cover, loved his ability to become a starting free safety in this league. And I saw him do a great job on punt cover. And I know Coach Dykes would be happy that he made a tackle the series before on punt cover.
Speaking of punt cover, the Bombers on that now with Jamison Sheehan near midfield to get it away. Devontae Williams, and coming in, Dandridge too. Williams takes it. Savon Scarver in on the punt return now. 81 up around the 15 on that return. Ottawa's defense has had its moments. Nearly had one there with an interception. Ottawa ball for the Red Blacks. This is game number 5, Dwayne. This has never happened before.
Yeah, absolutely remarkable, and somewhat tragic when you look at the injuries. Tyree Adams comes on and gets a win, but gets injured late in that game. Obviously, the situation with Jeremiah Masoli is tough. We were talking about it before the game. You go back to 2016 in the matchup between these two teams. Since Henry Burris, Crum is the 7th different Ottawa quarterback to start against Winnipeg. Only Matt Nichols and Zach Collaros have started for Winnipeg against Ottawa in the same time span.
What a difference. And we'll toss inside in the sweep to Justin Hardy. Picks up about 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah, what you're trying to do here is get speed and space, right? Hardy's a really fast kid. You're trying to flip him a toss, let him circle the defense in the ground, get the lineman going one way and him going the other. Good, easy call for Hardy to get an easy completion and get him in second lead.
Crum now 2 for 5 and a 2nd and 5 outside their 20. Stood in. Couldn't get rid of it. The heat was coming on the outside in the form of Jackson Jeffcoat, and wrapping him up in another sack for the Blue Bombers.
Jeffcoat, who's battled injuries in the early part of this season, just getting going, comes into this season, as you see him bottom of your screen, coming into this game with 1 sack, but he's going to double his total here. Good speed here to outrun the tackle off the mark, and then just using those long arms to keep Devontae Williams the back off of him as he tried to step in and help out.
And the boos starting to rain down here at TD Place as Richie Leone stands near his end zone.
I think they're booing the officials. I think they thought Winnipeg was offside. So
okay, that's a better way to look at it too, Lapo. Greg McCrae and bobbling that one, so no return there for Winnipeg, but still a good place again for Collaros to start.
McCrae getting an opportunity in the return game where it had big success last week. This has typically been the domain of Janarian Grant for Winnipeg. A little juggling of their roster this week has Carlton Agadosi in that receiving core. McCrae looking after return duties on a full-time basis.
And Zach Collaros had said in the Zoom calls this week, he loves to see him get on the field, and when he is, he knows he's playing. He's thinking of ways of getting him the football. Loves his athleticism and deceptive speed too. It's swung out to Greg McCrae, who has a big run after the catch to get it across midfield down near the Red Blacks 50.
You go ahead, Lapo.
Yeah, talking about Pearson on McCrae, so we just try to find ways to get him the ball as much as they can. They use him out of the backfield, put him on the ball, put the ball out in the flat, so there's miscommunication from the linebackers, gives him an easy opportunity to outflank the defense. It's a great throw by Zach because he was under duress.
Yeah, asking you about Ottawa for obvious reasons, but you as recently as 2019, Grey Cup year, were the offensive coordinator with Winnipeg. and you worked with Buck Pierce. Are there aspects of this
There's a
offense
10-yard misconduct penalty on the Ottawa bench. First down, Winnipeg.
So penalty against the Red Blacks. But are there aspects of this, and it's got to frustrate Bob Dice, but of the Winnipeg offense that you still recognize?
Yeah, there's certainly plays that we used to run previous years, but the one thing I'm excited to watch film each week is to see how Buck has evolved it with, he's got a great coaching staff working with him, with Marty and Kevin, and certainly Zach. The pass game looks different because of what Zach's done, like his how he's adapted it to his strengths.
Winnipeg 1st and 10 at the Ottawa 41 after that penalty against the Red Blacks. It's been tough sledding inside on the ground for the Blue Bombers. Ball carrier's Nick Dembski that time. And a short carry setting up yet another 2nd and long coming up here for Winnipeg. A little bit better.
There's our guy Buck, right? I talked to him last week, and he did say he occasionally goes back to the archives every week to find something that we ran through, whether 16, 17, 18, and 19. But he does a super job getting them prepared each week.
And that relationship goes a long way back. I remember when you were head coach of the Bombers, and he was your starting quarterback. 2010,
right?
Went to the Grey Cup in 2011 against BC.
Kahari Jones, the other coordinator there, was back in 2002. We're just old. We're old people.
That's going way back to young Lapo. Really young Lapo. Off to the left, and that's completed. And inside, and a first down for Winnipeg. Dembski on the receiving end now.
Yeah, you'll just see an out-breaking route. Right, you're going to see it on the 3 receiver side. These guys are going to clear out, open it up for the inside throw here on the inside by Dembski. He's got inside position, right? You just got to locate this football, let him run away, and Zach does a really good job of doing that to get an easy throw on the outside to put them in a really good. They threw right through field goal range. Now they're in a range they can do whatever they want on this part of the field.
Tell me a little bit about the kind of development of Nick Dembski's role for you in this Winnipeg offense.
Yeah, when we heard he was a free agent, I said, just bring him. We've been looking for a guy who can do multiple things, and the more you got around him, the more he could carry the ball, the more things he could do, and we tried to use him on speed sweeps and make him a nightmare.
Collaros gets away from the pressure, and he completes that, and looks like another first down for the Bombers inside the 20 to Wolotarski. Before that play, with an 11-0 score, the score in first downs was 11-0 for Winnipeg.
Watch, Wolotarski's going to come right to left in the formation. He was wide open, waving his hands for a long time. Collaros had to elude that rush first before he could throw that ball.
And I would
procedure, no end, Winnipeg. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
The thing I would say about what Zach has brought, there was a good offense there with the good talent, and he has made it an elite offense with his ability to do what he just did there. He can use his legs, move around, find throws, and he's been tremendous at using his legs. And again, he's a veteran guy. People can't get down on Dustin Crum. Zach's seen so many pictures over the years, and so the ball comes out of his hands so much faster, right? I think somebody's talk about these young quarterbacks. They expect them to produce right away, and it takes time.
So that completion of Wolotarski is negated because of procedures. So it's back out to the 34 of Ottawa and a 1st and 15. As Crum looks things over. Things must be flying fast, and this is first CFL start. And as mentioned, so they didn't get the first down there, but it's 11-0 in first downs as well for Winnipeg. Thorough domination of Ottawa. Trying to press for more points now past the midway point of the first half. It's complete and wide open. Dalton Schoen inside the 20 and down near the 15 for the 12th first down for Winnipeg in this first half.
You look at a guy like Zach Collaros, a veteran quarterback who really seems to have found his stride since coming to Winnipeg.
Tempo.
Always a good player, as we're going to see them go tempo here.
Right here. Yep.
So here we go. Back to work quickly after the first down. Complete. End zone touchdown, Nick Dembski. Yeah. Just like that.
And obviously, every time they've hit a big play today, you've seen Winnipeg go tempo. Zach fell down on one of them. They hit a pass play before. So obviously Buck saw that they wanted to go tempo after a big play.
Yeah, you'll see Dembski kind of hook it up. Just off tackle there, quick hitter for the touchdown. So tell me the mindset, the philosophy behind, as a coach or an offensive coordinator, going tempo after the big play.
Yeah, you can make a coded word one word tells everybody what to do. Get up to the line of scrimmage. You can call that. You can call it in the headset, which we have help with up here, calling the communicator. And then the quarterback tells people, and you're hoping to get people misaligned and not ready to play. And that's what looked like what happened on that one. They weren't ready to play defense. They were in a 4-by-1 set. The boundary guys hadn't come over. So that's what happens.
Paul LaPolice, you're going to be in the booth
guys.
next week? Couple of weeks from now?
Yeah.
A nice tutorial here coming in using that telestrator. So Bombers add to their lead. Down of the season as that Bomber offense was working quickly, Dwayne.
Yeah, Zach Collaros going to his right. Dembski from that formation is kind of sliding the other way from where Zach is rolling. Caused him to get lost in coverage a little bit. He just sits it down. Easy completion. Dembski does the rest for the touchdown.
Touchdown for you, bro. Love you, man.
Another proud new daddy, Nick Dembski.
Another proud Winnipegger, too, with so many that have played for the Blue Bombers and starred with them. So they kick off again. And now it's an 18-0 game. Winnipeg, thorough domination. With 5 minutes left until halftime, and the Red Blacks have not been able to do a thing on offense in this debut at quarterback, or first start for Dustin Crum. He came off the bench last week.
Yeah, and you're a little limited through absolutely no fault of Dustin Crum's. Obviously, you're going to run a little bit of a limited package. You're trying not to overstress a young quarterback. You're doing the best you can, whereas by contrast, as you heard Lapo talk about, you've got Zach Collaros, who's been in the league since 2012. This is a guy who anything you want to run, you can throw at him.
-5 net yards for Ottawa in this game. Positive yardage there for Devontae Williams, who gets it up closer to the 45. Williams, who was on the practice roster in Winnipeg in 2021 and said he learned a lot from Andrew Harris coming into the CFL.
Yeah, said much like Brady Oliveira that Andrew Harris was a guy who really took the young running back under his wing and showed him the ropes.
Throws in tight coverage and completes it too, just shy of the 50 and close to a first down. It is indeed, as the cheer comes up for the Red Blacks, who have their first down of this game, and it comes with 4:22 left in the first half. And they work tempo. Back to it, and Crum takes off. We saw this a lot last week when he came off the bench in Hamilton. He ran for 91 yards, and we see him call his own number there for a gain of about 8-9 yards. So second and short coming up.
Yeah, I'm not sure he called his own number, but it ended up being his own number with signals crossed in the backfield there. Good adaptation there by the young QB, who, as you mentioned, is certainly well within his comfort zone running with the football. A guy who rushed for close to 800 yards in his best season in college.
And former Bomber Terrell Pigram was with them in training camp, had a good preseason game before being let go. Comes in short yardage now, number 3, and goes right side and picks up another first down. Back-to-back first downs for the Red Blacks now late in the half, trying to get something going finally on offense.
Yeah, this could be an interesting opportunity for Pigram as well, a guy who I think a lot of CFL fans were kind of excited about in a league that needs to find and develop young QBs. Had a nice preseason for the Bombers.
Bubble. On that bubble, off to Nate Bahar, and he gets it inside the 50, so picks up about 2-3 yards. A second and long coming up for the Red Blacks.
And just typical of what you'd expect with a young QB in there. Kahari Jones giving him high percentage plays just to chip away.
3-minute warning. Red Blacks with the ball in Bomber territory.
I don't know about you guys, my favorite thing of the half so far, the combination of Paul LaPolice, Dwayne Ford, and Rod Smith. And I'm not even being funny. That was fantastic.
It was great.
Thank you, Kate. That means a lot. Lapo's had some fun, and Dwayne's been a good sport about it, giving Lapo lots of time. He let him have his telestrator pen and everything. So it's been good teamwork up here and a lot of fun being back and watching a game from this perspective, which, well, I'll have to ask Mr. LaPolice about that later on. It's a little different than the stress, I'm sure, of being down on the sideline or upstairs as an offensive coordinator in middle of game action. But
well, Lapo did acknowledge that you and I, Rod, are much easier to work with than the people on the panel in studio. as well. So
she said such a nice thing, and you're going there. I can't be part of this, Dwayne. You know?
You're just going to throw me under the bus.
No,
eh, Rod? You know he said it. You heard him say it.
Sorry, Lachlan. Seriously, how could you say that? In the Winnipeg 40, and it's high. It was a 1st and 10. Red Blacks had a little something going here. That's intended for Justin Hardy, but a 2nd down coming up now, trying to get something on the board before halftime.
Yeah, Hardy here working out of the slot. You're going to see window closes down pretty quickly on Dustin Crum. Evan Holm has been a revelation for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at halfback this season. Mike O'Shea talks about him as having some of the best feet he's seen on a defensive back in this league.
They're at the Bomber 40. They're trailing by 18 points. Crum gets away, almost got away from Willie Jefferson, but not enough to get a good throw away. And pressure from number 5 rears its head again, and a 3rd down and 10 is coming up, and Lewis Ward is coming on.
And you'll notice Jefferson again lined up on the inside. They get into a 2nd and long pass rush situation. And that time just a quick sort of slap and skip step to get past Zach Peleos and into the backfield.
Lewis Ward is 12 for 13. His longest this season is 50. And this one coming under that at about 47, where Richie Leone will put it down inside the left hash, and Lewis Ward, like Castillo, threading the needle from a longer distance. And the Red Blacks do have some points to show for this difficult first half. The field goal by Ward, and an 18-3 lead. An investigation into a botched kidnapping uncovers long-held secrets. Don't miss, I'll say it like Wayne Ford, don't miss the HBO Max original, how am I doing on that? HBO Max original limited series, Full Circle, is the show. You can stream it now only on Crave. No one can do it like Ford can.
You made me want to watch this show. I will be watching or PVRing or both. Full Circle.
You were with Marshall last night in Montreal, and you really brought it on the.
Well, it's Shark Week.
It's Shark Week.
Yeah.
Oh, who's bringing it now for Ottawa? Michael Wakefield coming in and taking down Brady Oliveira for the loss. Winnipeg's had trouble establishing their running game inside.
Yeah, Wakefield just blowing through that gap into the backfield. Darnay took the handoff. Wakefield, who started his career here in Ottawa, spent a little bit of time with Montreal before finding his way back to the nation's capital in free agency, adding nice depth to a pretty good Ottawa defensive line.
Oliveira taken down for a loss of 3. 6 carries, 5 yards for the CFL's leading rusher in this half, and Ottawa's defense stands up again. The starting safety Alonzo Adai makes the play, and still over 2 minutes to go. The Red Blacks got a field goal last time out, and they're about to get the ball back.
Yeah, and here you're going to see Adai playing a little closer to the line of scrimmage. We've seen him covering deep on pass plays, but Ty Cranston's got deep. This time Adai playing down close to the box. He's got Dembski, tracks him across that formation, makes a quick tackle.
Adai in his 2nd year for West Virginia. 2 returners back for the punt by Jamison Sheehan. One of them, Savon Scarver. A flag comes out. It's a time count coming up. Brandon Dandridge, the other one for Ottawa, awaiting that punt.
Time count violation, Winnipeg number 18. That's a 10-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
So obviously an uphill climb here for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, but the defense on that last possession really grabbing some momentum. We'll see if maybe special teams and offense can follow that cue.
It has been the Red Black strength this season. And Sheehan is put back inside the 15, standing on the 12. And some pressure coming. Ottawa close to getting to that one. Taken down inside the 40. This is Dandridge, and he is knocked down hard. Coming in, Jared Beeksma, former Tiger Cat, among those in the cover unit for the Blue Bombers. But Ottawa and Crum, a decent place to work with still lots of time. About a minute and a half to go till halftime.
And watch for 43, Jared Beeksma, the University of Guelph product, with the finishing shot on the Ottawa returner.
From the 46. A tough indoctrination, to say the least, for Dustin Crum. They were able to move down and get in field goal range last time. He has time. He steps in. Deep ball, open receiver, no! Save on Scarborough, was in behind coverage. He had a shot at a touchdown.
Yeah, you can see this route develop. It's a great read, absolutely the right decision by Dustin Crum. Well-placed football. Yeah, it's almost one of those where Scarver had too much time to think about it. He's tracking the ball. He knows he's wide open in behind DeMario Houston along that sideline. Massive missed opportunity here late in the first half.
In behind DeMario Houston. He had just the end zone ahead if he could have hung on. Second down. 1:26 of the clock till halftime. Blitz coming. Oh, nearly picked off. Another one that could have been caught. The strong side linebacker, Alden Darby, with a shot there at the interception. And who knows what could have happened after that. So it's 3rd down and 10 coming up here for Ottawa.
Yeah, we talked earlier about up against a good team. This very small margin of error. As you saw in that one, the receiver losing his footing on the play, but Winnipeg's only going to give you so many chances to hit that deep shot. You got to take advantage when you get a man open like that.
The lone returners, Greg McRae on the Leone punt at the 20. And up across to about the 26. 1:12 to go. Bombers deep in their zone. 18-3, Winnipeg with the lead, trying to improve to 5-1. Kate, Davis, Matt, and Milt coming up with some thoughts on this one. And well, I mean, you would have expected Winnipeg to be playing well here in Ottawa. I mean, they've won 5 straight here in Ottawa. It goes back a ways since they've lost a game here. But it had, up until recent minutes anyway, total Bomber domination. And yes, missed opportunities for the REDBLACKS, some mistakes as well. Greg McRae is the ball carrier up across the 30. And Adam Auclair getting the start for the first time in his career at middle linebacker, the product of Laval.
Yeah, we've seen him play a little bit at will, and an opportunity in various packages defensively for Ottawa over the course of the last couple of years. I mentioned earlier, number 6 overall pick coming out of that great Laval program in 2020. It's nice to see him get an opportunity to do different things, because I think versatility is a big part of what Adam Auclair brings to the table in a CFL defense.
The man in the middle had been Tyron Greda, who's hurt. And before that, Javon Santos-Knox was penciled in to be their starting middle linebacker. Douglas Coleman, the strong side backer, chasing down, or Auclair, excuse me, and Coleman, Brady Oliveira. But not enough for the first down, so another 3rd coming up, and Sheehan comes back on for Winnipeg.
We'll take a look here. Quick shot to the flats for Oliveira. Nice job by Coleman. The REDBLACKS early sack leader. Quick start to the season.
Coleman had that penalty earlier on after the whistle that extended a Winnipeg drive and turned a field goal into a touchdown. 15-point Bomber lead. Half minute to go until halftime. Sheehan, the Australian, gets it away. And that one heads out of bounds. Up at the 45 for Ottawa.
Just 21 seconds to go here in the half, and a lot of times, you know, had it been a deeper punt or a little deeper in their own territory, you'd think with a young quarterback that they just try and get out of the half mistake free. But you know, here getting closer to midfield. Bit of temptation to try and get into field goal range.
See if he can salvage a little bit more from what's been a pretty tough half. Blitz is coming for Crum. Can't get it away. Taken down again. It's Adam Bighill again on the blitz, and another sack registered by that Winnipeg defense.
Well, you know, I love that Adam Bighill, he can cover deep, obviously stop the run, but huge fan when Biggie is on the blitz, and here you're going to see they load up in the middle. He's unblocked. Just miscommunication from the Ottawa offensive line. You can see that he's coming. They don't get it picked up. A guy with that short a line coming a gap. That short a line to the quarterback. It's got to be a priority in your protection.
He's had a couple. Willie Jefferson 2. Jackson Jeffcoat 4 sacks in this first half for the Bombers as Crum takes a knee. Not happy here at TD Place. They have the most recent points, a field goal, but not nearly enough offensively for Bob Dice's Ottawa REDBLACKS, and a pretty good show for that Winnipeg defense. Willie Jefferson, Bighill, and company, as they're still comfortably, if they don't take the penalty earlier on, and if Scarver gets that touchdown, Winnipeg's still the better team, and it's a closer game.
Yeah, I mean, you heard the panel talk about it at halftime. This could very easily, just with those two factors you talked about, be a 14-10 football game as we start the second half, rather than Winnipeg being up by 2 scores.
Brandon Dandridge in a good return. Red-black football to start this second half as he gets it up across the Ottawa 45. Things didn't go at all well for Dustin Crum, especially through a quarter and a half. Picked up a little bit later on as they got down for a field goal, but it's been a rough indoctrination.
Yeah, it certainly has, and you knew he was going to face a lot of pressure from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But, you know, I mean, this isn't a case of Dustin Crum, for example, holding on to the ball too long. I mean, there are times where they've got to look after things in terms of blitz pickup and protection to give him a chance to make those throws.
They put it on the ground to Devontae Williams to start this second half, and he gets it up across the Ottawa 50. And again, a 3 or 4 for the REDBLACKS. But yeah, that says it all. 5 completions on 12 attempts, just 20 yards, and 1 was picked off.
Yeah, but it's, again, even at that, they've had opportunities to make this a closer game, and when those same opportunities come up here in the second half, they've got to make them, give themselves an opportunity.
You saw Nick Arbuckle, who had started the season, first couple of games for the REDBLACKS, the backup quarterback in this one. As Crum stays in from the Ottawa 51 and a second down. It's complete to COC Mariner. Has a catch in this game, and that is his first for the REDBLACKS in this one, and his 5th on the season, and a first down Ottawa.
Yeah, COC Mariner, big target. Going to see him drive the defender off, quick slant to get in front of him. Nicely placed ball. Good effort on the catch. Moving the sticks into Bomber territory.
A couple of receivers from Utah State, him and Savon Scarver, teammates again here in Ottawa. That's handed off, and trying to break it outside is Williams. He does pick up a few yards.
Of the ground game, look after some of the pass blocking, etc. here in the Canadian Football League.
2nd and 8 now at the Winnipeg 45, right at it. Crum under the heat, gets away, likes to run. We've seen that before. And another good run. He had only 1 in the first half for 9 yards. That one easily another first down. He ran for 91 yards off the bench last week against Hamilton.
And we talked about this in the Hamilton game last week, is given the situation at quarterback in Ottawa right now, you love the positive play, but when you're Bob Dice, you're holding your breath a little bit every time your quarterback is running with the ball and putting himself at risk of taking hits. But, I mean, it's a legitimate weapon, a legitimate asset for Dustin Crum. You got to take advantage of it, too.
He gets it down to the 31 and a first down Ottawa. And swinging it out now for Bahar. Turns the corner, and Evan Holm escorts him out. And a flag does come out.
Yeah, Savon Scarver, I think, is going to get called for an illegal block here as he was coming back to try and help out. once Bahar caught the ball, looked like he gave his man a shot from behind.
Holding Ottawa number 81. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Veteran referee Dave Foxcroft working his 350th game and announcing that penalty against Scarver.
Well, congratulations to Dave. You're going to see Bahar as the inside receiver here, but we'll keep an eye on Scarver on the outside as he's trying to block to help out. There's a little bubble, but Scarver, and he gets beaten by his man, has to snatch him to try and slow him down.
Making it a 1st and 20, negating that play to Bahar. And Crum decides why not take off again with the pressure coming. Not nearly as much as Holm, excuse me, make sure he is taken down with a much shorter gain. We do have a 2nd and long coming up here for Ottawa.
And I suspect that Kahari Jones may have Dustin Crum working on his hook slide a little bit in the week ahead. In the name of self-preservation. But yeah, he's such a threat to run that, quite honestly, his first couple reads aren't there. I think that this is going to be his best option to try and keep the sticks moving, is to create with his legs.
He has 3 carries for 29 yards now. And, geez, somebody has a knockdown on Winnipeg's defensive line. I wonder who it is.
Yes, we've seen this movie before. Willie Jefferson has already welcomed Dustin Crum to the Canadian Football League with a sack. Here you're going to see Willie standing up. He's on the loop on this one, then hanging back.
Setting up a field goal try, and that was the 60th knockdown, by the way, in the great career of one Willie Jefferson. Forcing a 3rd down now, Lewis Ward, who's 1 for 1 and looking to double Ottawa's point total and get a little bit closer. Now a 12-point Winnipeg game, 18-6. The most recent 6 scored by Ottawa. Willie Jefferson gets the sacks, gets the knockdowns, and been great for Winnipeg. To have at least 60 quarterback sacks and pass knockdowns. Matthew Shinetti, he has proven to be a quarterback's worst nightmare.
Yeah, and a shout out to our stats guru, or one of them, John Perlberg, for that stat. Very unique to Willie Jefferson. And I was watching him pregame. He does what you would imagine you'd also see in volleyball, setting the ball, kind of pushing it in the air. He was working alongside defensive back coach Jordan Younger, the former Argos DB. And I asked him, what is so key to Willie doing that? He goes, anticipation. I asked Willie, what's the key? He said, down and distance. That knockdown came 2nd and 14. Guys,
He almost looked like he was playing volleyball there, knocking it down up at the net and helping his offense get the ball back, although it was a field goal by Lewis Ward to get them 3 more on the board. But how many times have we seen him do that in his career?
60, Rod.
Yeah. You've seen all 60? You know what? I kind of put the ball on the tee there, didn't I?
You really did. But yeah, Willie Jefferson, neat to see him actually working on drills, right? To reading the quarterback's arm angle, timing the release, and so on. Put himself in position to make those kind of plays.
Now, in fairness, stupid as that sounds, thank you, Rod. Have you seen all 60? Have you really, Dwayne? Let's be literal about this. Here's the 4-man rush. Yeah, deep ball and just beyond the outstretched fingertips of Greg McCrae. Sorry.
Well, and this is the situation that you heard Lapo talk about with Greg McCrae, and that kind of versatility, right? Sometimes he's a receiver, sometimes he's a running back. So here he's lined up in the backfield. Well, this match is one of the fastest guys on the field up against the middle linebacker. And as good as Adam Auclair is, he ain't going to keep up speed-wise on that kind of route with Greg McCrae. Just a near-missed opportunity, but a great setup by offensive coordinator Buck Pierce.
So close for Winnipeg. Still with a 12-point lead, punting it away. Jamison Sheehan. Outside is 30. Again, 2 returners back for the Red Blacks. This one heading off to the left. Brendan Dandridge with it. And he gets away from a would-be tackler and up across the 30. And finally taken down around the 33 by Brian Cole on the tackle. Well, late in the first half, they got down into field goal range to start the second half. They did as well. Still lots of work ahead for Dustin Crum.
Misconduct penalties. We talked about this one earlier that went against Douglas Coleman, that gave Winnipeg a chance to score a touchdown. They took another one shortly after. This one was called on the sidelines. This is Ottawa General Manager Sean Burke down there who has given it to the officials. Is he earned the flag that you heard called against the Ottawa sideline.
Costly, deep look, right side. Coverage is there. Abu Durrami Soiree on COC Marin, and it falls incomplete.
Well, these are shots that, you know, not necessarily high percentage, but one that you've got to take every so often to keep the defense honest, quite frankly. Pretty good protection here from the Ottawa front. You've got to hold, obviously, a long time for a deep shot like that.
We have a challenge flag coming out now from the Ottawa sideline.
Yeah, not shocked to see them take a shot here. Bob Dice, you saw him signaling to the head, maybe looking for a headshot on the quarterback as he was taken down on that play.
Ottawa is challenging that. There was roughing the passer on the previous play. We're going to review the play.
As it stands, a second down, but reviewing this one, that if reversed could move the Red Blacks up 15. Bob Dice thinks roughing the passer. Back with a ruling on that after this. Let's have another look at this, Dwayne.
Yeah, Walker comes from the defensive tackle position here. He's going to get in on the initial tackle. I also wonder, as Crum started to go down, you see the arm up top around the helmet.
Was it roughing the passer? Here's the announcement from Dave Foxcroft.
After review by the command center, the ruling on the field stands. There is no roughing the passer. Ottawa is charged a timeout and has no more challenges for the remainder of the game.
And so without that, it stands at a 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. The intended long ball for COC Mariner that went incomplete. So Ricky Walker is off the hook. The ball remains nosing up to the Red Black 33, down 18-6. Under 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. Off to the right, and a first down. Savon Scarver has it. Scarver, who nearly had what looked like it would be a touchdown catch in the first half, but just couldn't hang on in a deep ball. But he has that one to move the sticks for the Red Blacks.
Yeah, and it'll seem like a small thing, but with a lot of young guys on the field, and particularly at quarterback, anytime you're shaking off adversity and moving forward, even something as simple as that, right? A lost challenge, you're in 2nd and long, and so on. But just to ignore that, go on with the next play and pick up a first down, take that as a positive and build on it.
Scarver now with 2 catches for 25 yards. Play action fake, moving out to the left and throwing that one well shy of the intended target, which was Scarver again. So a second down coming up.
A tough throw there for Crum, running to his left and kind of in a situation because of the pursuit, unable to really get himself turned up field at all to deliver that throw.
This is part 1 of a Saturday doubleheader. After this, off to Mosaic for another meeting between the Riders and Stampeders. 3 weeks ago, their game went to overtime with Saskatchewan winning it.
Always enjoy the battle of the Dickinson brothers.
Absolutely. Craig got the better of Dave on that one 3 weeks ago. Meeting again in the backfield, Walker. And this time really hits Crum hard and takes him down on another sack by Winnipeg.
Yeah, this Winnipeg defensive line, so tough to handle. Ricky Walker's lining up right in the middle of things. You see linebackers walked up. Walker just beating his block to get there.
2nd sack of the season for Walker. 5th for the Blue Bombers on this day. And the punt by Leone chases McRae inside the 15. Alonzo Adai in on the coverage.
Wifey, Rocco Duke. That's for y'all. I love y'all. Hey, happy birthday to my brother.
Ricky Walker got some heat on earlier and then got the sack there.
Yeah, we give so much attention to the Winnipeg defensive ends, Jefferson and Jeffcoat. You think about the guys that they've rolled through on the inside. Obviously, Jake Thomas has been the fixture, but it's gone from Steven Richardson to Casey Sales. Now Ricky Walker taking the majority of the snaps. They just keep producing.
Back to Collaros, standing inside his 20. Looks deep over the middle, and Brady Oliveira breaks free inside the 40. Abdul Kenna finally takes him down inside the 25. Bombers, quick strike in business. The CFL's leading rusher has had a lot more success in the air in this game now.
Yeah, mixing things up formation-wise. You're going to see Oliveira's going to free release from the backfield, and he's taking it straight down the seam here. Just caught Auclair a little bit flat-footed. Adai's trying to come over from his free safety spot to provide some help over the top. But well-placed ball from the veteran quarterback, Collaros. And again, nicely drawn up play call from Buck Pierce. We're going to have to ask Lapo if that was one that came from the archives he talked about.
Well, Oliveira in the first half, leading rusher, had 1 yard and 5 carries. That was a gain of 63. Through the air, here's Wolotarski. Got a good game, gets it inside the 10 now for Winnipeg. Another first down. It'll be 1st and goal, Bombers. Threatening again.
And Drew Wolotarski. He's been such a reliable receiver. Nothing flashy about his game. The University of Minnesota product, former supplemental draft pick for the Bombers. Just keeps producing out there.
3 touchdowns on the season, and 1 to get Winnipeg much closer now. Take a break, be back here at TD Place.
And I'm not going to fall back. And then I asked him, how much are you trying to talk yourself through that as you're gaining more and more experience? He goes, I watch a video of Marshawn Lynch. Now, I'll go ahead and edit out what Marshawn Lynch says, but ultimately, Brady Oliveira, like Marshawn Lynch, just wants to hit a, and I'll let you insert what that last 2 words could be.
I think we can figure it out, Matthew. Thank you for that. But that running style, that north-south, and you know, you think about that style and getting in behind the pants. Andrew Harris, not too many better than he was for that too, squaring up, running hard. Oliveira, the fake to him, the look into the end zone. Winnipeg touchdown. Drew Wolotarski has TD number 4 in 2023.
And this play to me ends up looking a lot like the Dembski touchdown in the first half. If you got flow going to the right between quarterback going that way, running back releasing out to the flat, you're going to see Dembski this time is coming from the outside. But watch, Wolotarski comes outside in exactly as Dembski did in the first half and just sits down as everybody's running the other way to cover the flats, cover that side of the field. Collaros dumps it back to the inside to the open receiver.
A fine season for 82, who came into the CFL back in 2017. Had over 600 yards receiving back in 2018. And not close to that since, but on a good pace so far. And in terms of touchdowns, 4 catches, 70 yards, and his 4th touchdown of the season in a 3-play, 86-yard drive as Winnipeg quickly answers back.
Yeah, Drew Wolotarski, as I mentioned, picked in the supplemental draft in 2017. Winnipeg used a 3rd-round pick that I would say has more than paid dividends for them. Guy who quickly became a starter for this team and has just been a fixture in their lineup ever since. To that point, the continuity of this Bombers lineup, we talked about it at the quarterback position. They've only started 2 different quarterbacks against Ottawa in this matchup in the time. Ottawa has started 7 different quarterbacks. But you look throughout their roster, the continuity that they've had, and I know it was a big goal for them coming through the pandemic after winning that Grey Cup in 2019, that it was a priority to keep as much of the team together as they could going into 2021 with a short training camp and so on. And it's just gone forward from there, and there's a reason why this team has remained so competitive through the years.
And not just in the receiving core, of course. You look at the offensive line since 19. A couple of changes inside, but a lot of consistency on this club.
Yeah, and some of the changes you look at are changes that have come from within, guys who are already there.
Dandridge on the return. Now a 19-point Winnipeg lead. It's up around the 30. Dustin won a Grey Cup with Edmonton back in 2015 against Ottawa. Later went on to Saskatchewan and then found quite a home in Winnipeg these last few years. Defensive Player of the Year in 2019, and another Defensive Player of the Year, Adam Bighill, involved in a tackle there on Jackson Bennett.
Yeah, you think about Willie Jefferson and his career path. This is a guy who started his college career at Baylor as a wide receiver. Moves, like, imagine this guy lining up as wideout. But moves from wide receiver to tight end, eventually over to defensive line, where he has clearly found a home.
Well, you like him on those 50-50 balls over the sideline, wouldn't you? Blitz coming, gets it away, near a first down. Evan Holm taking down Justin Hardy, but it looks like he will at the first, right at midfield. See where they spot the ball. Indeed, it does look like it is enough, nosing up to midfield.
Watch Jackson Bennett in the Ottawa backfield here. Stepping up, he knows that blitz is coming. He's got to get there. Took the worst of that collision with Brandon Alexander coming up the middle. Adam Bighill coming off this other edge delivers a hit, but nice execution there against the blitz for the Red Blacks.
Right at the 55 and a 1st and 10. Ottawa trailing by 19, rolling to the right, trying to get away from Bighill. Picks up a few more yards. We have seen Crum run the ball more often here in the second half. Just the one carry in the first.
Yeah, whatever it takes to keep those sticks moving. For Dustin Crum, quick look, see a run lane, take advantage, positive play, get yourself into 2nd and medium.
5 yards exactly, so the 2nd and 5 coming up, the Winnipeg 50. We've said this before, but the Red Blacks offense, it's nice to have Lewis Ward. Field goals can be nice, but they got to find the end zone. More pressure coming. He steps up and he gets away, and he gets it inside the 45. So with the legs of Crum working again, another Red Blacks first down.
A nice escape here for the young QB. We'll see this pocket close down around him, and Winnipeg defensive coordinator Richie Hall loading it up as we see Adam Bighill up around the line of scrimmage an awful lot.
Well, he had 1 carry for 9 yards in the first. He now has 5 carries for 41. At the Winnipeg 43. Handing off to Bennett. He grinds his way for about 3 more yards, getting down near the 40. So, yeah, I mean, you can bring it up. They're within Lewis Ward range, but you got to be, at this point, or at what point do you start thinking 3-down football here?
Yeah, I mean, I think you give it a little bit of time into the 4th quarter, at least. But, yeah, tough to carve down that 19-point deficit 3 points at a time, especially when you got to contain Winnipeg's offense at the same time.
A big 2nd down for this Red Blacks offense. 2nd and 7 at the Winnipeg 40. Crum with time. He steps up. He's going to run again. And he gets close to, see where the spot is, another Red Blacks first down in the legs of Dustin Crum. They put it down actually a little bit shy at the 34. Had to get to the 33, but 3rd down coming up, and got some big players coming on now, and short yardage quarterback Terrell Pigrun.
Yeah, and at this point, after a few runs in a row, Dustin Crum might be just as happy that they marked him short and get the short yardage team out there just so he can catch his breath on the sidelines for a play.
3rd down and less than a yard. Late 3rd quarter. Pigrun, the ex-Blue Bomber. They're in training camp and let go just recently when Dakota Prukop became available, and Pigrun should have it as Crum will head back out on the field as this Ottawa drive will continue.
Offside on Winnipeg on the defensive line. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So take the 5 instead, and the first down a little bit closer for the Red Blacks. Down inside the 30, put it down at the 29.
See the Bomber D line starting to creep a little bit early there. Red Blacks generating a little momentum here as the 3rd quarter winds down.
Longest drive for the Red Blacks in this one. This is the 10th play inside the Winnipeg 30. Crum completes it. Cutting back. Nick Bahar. First down inside the 15. Red Blacks definitely have something on the go now. And as we talked about, they need to get into the end zone to get back into this game.
Yeah, Bahar lines up out wide on this one. He's going to work towards the middle of the field. He's got Jalen Ackland clearing things out a little bit inside. Nice job to make the first two miss and get north-south.
First trip to the red zone for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Trailing 25-6 from the Winnipeg 13. Late third quarter. Might be the final play. Not quite. Taken down with 6 seconds to go by Adam Bighill. On COC Mariner. Another tackle for Bighill.
Yeah, you're going to see Mariner in this one. Just works underneath. They got the fullback in on the play, Gosselin, who's runs an under from the other side, but you can see he's basically just waiting to try and create traffic, a rub, if you will, for the receiver coming from the other side.
And that tackle by Bighill on Mariner forces a loss of 2. 2nd and 12, Winnipeg 15. And the big second down. And closer to the end zone for Mariner, and down incomplete, down around the 2 or 3. So, third down. Ottawa getting closer at the end of 3, but still a long leading it 25-6. Seen a little bit of life out of that Red Black offense, but only enough to get into field goal range now, Dwayne.
Yeah, and obviously disappointing that they may be settling for that, but again, you've got to take small victories, look for positives, look at the way that they've responded to a little bit of adversity in the second half of this football game, and try and build on it. Listen, I know ultimately in the game of professional football, it's all about wins and losses, but we're still early in the season, kind of wrapping up the first third of the season here, that Ottawa is going to have a long way to go where they're trying to figure out this quarterback situation. I think Dustin Crum has done some positive things.
Certainly has in the second half, especially the running complementing as well. As Lewis Ward does come out, they want to make sure they get some points to show for it, but still not able to get into the end zone. Ward is 3 for 3. Make it a 25-9 game for Winnipeg. As you talked about Dustin Crum, the 4th starting QB in 5 games the Red Blacks have used, and needing that time to cut his teeth, and he has looked better in the second half after a really tough first.
Yeah, and it's within the realm of Dustin Crum's Canadian Football League career. Ultimately, he's now into, call it his 2nd full game in the Canadian Football League. Came on during the first half last week. You know, I mean, that's a huge amount of experience, relatively speaking, for him. That just the number of reps that he's gotten compared to where he was a week ago, that you're going to see that growth early on, I think, as a positive thing.
With Jeremiah Masoli not ready at the start of the season, Nick Arbuckle made the first 2 starts, then Tyree Adams, and a victory for Ottawa. He got hurt, and then Masoli injured, of course, last week. And the horrible moment, and Crum coming on, and now the 4th starter, as mentioned, for Ottawa. So it's Winnipeg's offense on the field now with their lead cut by 3, and that's Brady Oliveira, or excuse me, Nick Dembski.
Yeah, and you know, this is part of the challenge for Ottawa in terms of trying to get back in this football game. Well, technically it's a 2-score game, 16-point deficit right now, but you've also got Winnipeg, which is such a great closing team with their run game, and whether it's going to be Dembski and Bailey on the receiver runs, you can get McRae involved as well, but obviously Brady Oliveira in that offensive line, they can eat up that clock.
Empty backfield, deep look, right, wide open, no, that one is dropped. And someone we're used to seeing making clutch plays, one of the top receivers in the game, Dalton Schoen, couldn't hang on.
Yeah, Schoen's going to come out of the slot on this one, taking full advantage of that waggle and just accelerating to get in behind Abdul Kenna. Claris drops it in there, but as you mentioned, a rare miss for Dalton Schoen. Kind of the king of the home run ball a year ago.
And so a break for the Red Blacks as they'll get it back early in this fourth quarter. Jamison Sheehan on to punt it away for Winnipeg.
So I guess that kind of makes them even on the missed deep balls.
On the Scarver one in the first half. Dandridge at the 15. Picks up 3. Brian Cole, another special teams tackle for him, as Crum and that Ottawa offense heads back out on the field.
As hard as it is to contain Winnipeg's offense, equally difficult face a Winnipeg D whose leaders Jefferson and Big Hill have come exactly as advertised today.
It's made it that much tougher for the first CFL start for Dustin Crum. The heat they put on, a couple of sacks mentioned by Big Hill and Jefferson, Jeffcoat. Tough defense to face in your first CFL start. Pulls it back, completes the pass to Hardy across the 30 and more. Justin Hardy, he cuts outside. Cross midfield to Mario Houston. Finally takes him down near the Winnipeg 35, and that is a big play the Red Blacks desperately need.
Yeah, it sure was. Justin Hardy turning a short one into an explosion play. Hardy coming out of the slot. In this instance, it's quick turnout, and I love his work after the catch on this one. Couple of great moves to take it into Bomber territory.
Gain of 53 yards, first and 10 from the 38. That's complete. Jalen Ackland, their top receiver last year, just his second catch. Ackland had a very quiet 2023.
Yeah, Ackland had a season high 4 catches last week against Hamilton. Obviously the hope for Ottawa is that that's a sign of him starting to get going. But yeah, through Ottawa's first few games, very quiet for a guy who's been a perennial 1,000-yard guy.
2 catches for 9 yards in this one. Throwing again from completing it to Ackland again. Just shy of the 30 on that 2nd and 5. So still a few yards away from a first down. 3rd and 2, and in Lewis Ward's range again.
Yeah, picking away, taking what they're getting. Going here on 3rd.
Ward stays in the sidelines. 4th quarter. 11:07 and counting, and a big 3rd down here for Ottawa. Crum, the heat is coming. He gets rid of it, and Ackland has it, and he has a first down Ottawa inside the Winnipeg 20. Blitz coming. Crum got rid of it quickly.
Yeah, good job by Crum to know it's coming and that the ball's got to be out quickly, but also there you saw Devontae Williams stepping up to meet the blitzing free safety, Brandon Alexander. Give his quarterback enough time to deliver the rock.
Second straight impressive drive for this Ottawa Redblacks offense. The last one ended in a field goal. Needing the end zone again. And that one coming in, it's Bahar. He's inside the 15. And he has about 5 more yards for Ottawa. 2nd down coming up.
Again, the Red Blacks generating momentum, getting a drive going. Now it's about finishing, what they weren't able to do last time they got this deep.
5 straight completions for Dustin Crum, who's looking more comfortable now after a difficult start as this game goes on. On the Winnipeg 14. Movement, Willie Jefferson. Flag coming out later. That one intended for Jalen Ackland.
The Red Blacks live to fight another down.
2 penalties on the play. Offside, Winnipeg, number 5. That penalty's declined. We have defensive pass interference, Winnipeg, number 31. Be half the distance to goal. First down, Ottawa.
Evan Holm called on the PI.
And you're going to see Acklin here working out of the slot against number 31, Evan Holm. Holm just hanging on a little bit after the initial collision. Slowing Acklin down as he tries to make the break. Credit to Acklin for initiating contact on that one, essentially drawing the penalty.
This is game 5 for the Red Blacks. They've scored only 4 touchdowns this season, 1 on a punt return. Trying to find the end zone here is Crum. Gets away for a moment and chucks it into the end zone. Nobody home as it heads out of bounds.
They love the decision by the young quarterback. He got his eyes out there, knew he was going down. He's just getting rid of that ball to save the field position. Initially, you see Nate Bahar on the right side was open, but Crum's not going to have a chance to get there. He's got Willie Jefferson in his face instantly. Adam Bighill nipping at his heels. Good awareness here in his first CFL start to recognize the situation.
And his first incompletion of this drive, now 5 for 6, 77 yards. More yards passing than he has had throughout the rest of the game. Trying again. Oh, nearly completes it, but no, around the 5 intended for Keaton Brugling. Falls incomplete, and we now have a 3rd and goal coming up for Ottawa.
Yeah, Brugling, the Carleton product, working across the formation here. Yeah, unable to get the squeeze there.
And the offense stays on the field. Touchdown or bust coming up here for the Red Blacks. Only 1 touchdown pass this season. That was Marco Dubois. A long run after the catch a few weeks ago. Crum looking for his first. Into the end zone, no. For Acklin, and it falls shy. And the Red Blacks got close, but they will turn it over on downs. Another turnover going Winnipeg's way. Not for a lack of a good effort by Crum and the Red Blacks offense, but they will have nothing to show for it here. Winnipeg football still up 19. Zach Collaros with his team leading again, and a sample of his work so far in this game.
Yeah, another big day for the Bombers quarterback. And you know, you kind of take it for granted. He has just been so good since donning the blue and gold. But Zach, 18 for 27 on the day, 297 yards, couple touchdowns, no picks. There's no wonder this guy's the back-to-back reigning most outstanding player in the Canadian Football League.
Last year, the first, he went over 4,000 yards in his career. Of course, many of his seasons with Hamilton shortened by injury. On pace right now for even more than that to the 2-time MOP. And on the ground, Brady Oliveira. And a longer gain for him the way it's gone on the ground for the CFL's leading rusher.
Yeah, you look at what Zach has done.
And look at the name ahead of him.
Yes, sir.
The most legendary of legendary Ottawa CFL players, Russ Jackson, who retired back in 1969, standing at 5th. With a win by Collaros, he would jump ahead by a couple of percentage points. 2nd and 4 coming up, and with 16-point lead. So still, yes, 2 scores, but Ottawa was so close to making it a 1-score game. Couldn't get it done on the 3rd down and goal. So Winnipeg still in charge. Taking the handoff, dumping it off to Oliveira. Oh, he lost the ball after a good run after the catch, and the Red Blacks have it. Damon Webb, and he coughs it up after he was hit. The whistle blowing is Frankie Griffin running with it, but it's another break the Red Blacks need after Oliveira had something good going after the catch. A turnover going Ottawa's way. Oliveira stayed in bounds. It got punched out. And ultimately,
Adam Auclair makes it all for naught. Holding this turnover sledgehammer on the sidelines as he was the man who tracked down Oliveira and punched that one out with the right hand. Nice job by the Red Blacks middle linebacker. A little bit of a scramble there before D. Webb ultimately comes up with the ball.
Right at the Ottawa 54, so just shy of midfield. Still down 16. Crum back to work, and sharper in the second half. That one completed to Nate Bahar.
Bahar working back to the football here.
They spot at just shy of a first down, about a 9-yard pickup here. Working tempo on the second and short now. Still at a shotgun is Crum. From the Winnipeg 47 on the ground. Devontae Williams first down and closer to the 40. The drive continues, and yeah, it has been, even though they don't have the points to show for it, a very different looking Ottawa offense the second half.
Yeah. Definitely a nice burst there from Devontae Williams, offensive line. Creating a nice run lane for him.
To the Winnipeg 41, throwing off to his right. And coming down with that is Jalen Acklin with Evan Holm on him. And looks like Acklin is a left or right leg injury. He gets up, though.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a cramp, the way he worked on it. But good battle going on between he and Evan Holm over there. Acklin heating up a little bit here in the second half, which is a positive again for Ottawa.
And they spotted at the 30, so that's another first down. So Crum and company continue to impress. Said it before, and I'll say it again. Of course, they need the end zone. On the ground, breaking out to the right, Dietrich Nichols helping take down Devontae Williams, but not until he gets just inside the Winnipeg 25. 5.5 minutes on the clock. Still time. They can get a touchdown here and get it to a one-score game.
Yeah, the compete level in Ottawa, and we saw it last week in Hamilton as well after Jeremiah Masoli went down. The factor that can't be denied.
Crum takes off. It's taken down around the 10. Another first down.
And you wonder if going forward, the way that Dustin Crum has been able to hurt Winnipeg a little bit with his legs, if opposing teams may start to spy the Ottawa quarterback a little bit.
Right at the 10, a first and goal. Dominating in first downs in the second half. Oh, Brandon Alexander comes in, and Crum was able to get it away afterwards. Down near the end zone, he did not see Alexander coming in the safety blitz.
Yeah, I love this. Alexander is coming from the bottom of your screen. We've seen him on the safety blitz up the middle a couple of times. This time, end of the line with another linebacker coming from that side. That eats up the running back. Leaves Alexander free, but moving him around to different places. Love what Richie Hall has done defensively.
In the first half, Winnipeg had 13 first downs, Ottawa 3. In the second half, Ottawa has 14, Winnipeg 3. But on the scoreboard, which matters most, it's a big difference, isn't it? And it's not going to help here as the Bombers register another sack. It is Les Maruo, the linebacker, in to take him down in the 6th sack for Winnipeg's defense in this game.
Yeah, you see Maruo, 2-point stance there up at the line of scrimmage from his linebacker spot and just comes underneath on the running back, Devontae Williams. Just needs to be a little firmer on that inside leg.
Third down. It is third and goal, but it's a long way away now, back at the 17. Another end zone or bust situation for Ottawa. From end zone, look! Nearly intercepted. Doesn't matter anyway. Houston got his hands on it. He doesn't get the pick, but it is a turnover
Holding.
Again.
Ottawa number 59. The penalties declined. Ball will be turned over on downs. First down, Winnipeg.
Another turnover for Winnipeg on the holding penalty is declined. So Houston here, and they're closing in on it. He would pass Cal Murphy. for his 87th regular season win, and that will be second most in the history for head coaches of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Bud Grant is the leader. He's number 1. Cal Murphy had been second, the late Cal Murphy, who passed away back in 2012, and a great head coach in the CFL. And O'Shea tied him last week and could go ahead, assuming the Bombers do hang on, for a victory here. Take a break. 3-minute warning here in the 4th. On defense, they suddenly do.
Just a mislocated throw you're going to see here, right? Basically what happens is early in the game, the interception was with bad located ball. This is just a little bit outside. DB's on an outside position, recognize it, runs it in the end zone. Great score to get this crowd going again, guys. Excellent job. That's what your defense got to do. They got to do their part, go out every play and not worry about what happened before, not worry about the offense. Play the best defense you can play. An outstanding job right there by Dandridge.
That is just the 5th touchdown scored by Ottawa this season. 3 on offense, the other 2 by Brandon Dandridge. 1 a punt return touchdown, and the other this pick 6.
And now, you know, would this be a bad time to bring up as they pull within 10, that 11-point swing?
There you go.
In the first half on a penalty and a drop ball?
Well, they have to go for 2, of course, to get it to a 1-score game, get it down to 8. Not much choice here with 2.5 to go. The end zone look. They got it. 2-point conversion. 1-score game.
Let us know what you saw, Lapo.
Yeah, I think they're going to motion in. They're going to motion to the boundary here to just throw a nice, easy. I believe it's just going to be a nice, easy throw here with 2 hitches underneath. And Zach takes the underneath throw, but I just think what happens is he just misses this throw. That's what they got. 2 underneath throws with a corner route. Okay, and the thing I see at the end of that, Wolotarski starts to move, right? He thinks he starts to move inside, and you just can't do that. Like, Zach's ready to throw the ball. He's got to stay out there. That may be what happened here. And then on the convert, really good throw. They've gotten better protection this half, guys. I really think they've done a better job of protecting Dustin, make sure he has to throw off the wider edge free rushers and that. So, hey, we've got a game.
That was the 7th career pick 6 thrown by Zach Collaros, his first as a member of the Bombers. And if Mike O'Shea had been listening with about 3 minutes to go, talking about him closing in on a victory here, he'd be cursing us.
Yes.
So no more of that.
No more Osh talk.
No more Osh talk, and he would appreciate that, as this is a 1-score game. And yeah, Ottawa, and think of how well they've looked offensively in the second half and didn't get the touchdowns to show for it when they got into the red zone and went for it on 3rd down and goal and just couldn't get those points. It's just 8 points separating O'Shea's Bombers and Ottawa, now with 17 on that interception return for a touchdown by Brandon Dandridge.
So, Lapo, this is a great time. I want to pick your brain a little bit from a coaching perspective. Some of the things you're thinking is, Ottawa, are you thinking onside kick here? And some of the clock management things you start to think about at this stage in the game.
Yeah, you're going to kick, you've got plenty of time. You're going to kick this deep. Try to play defense like you played all game, and then just get an opportunity, get one more opportunity to get the ball.
Leone with the kickoff. Greg McRae up across the 35, and now with 2:29, still plenty of time. That defense for Ottawa has been very strong.
And let's don't forget, like, on 2nd and short, Winnipeg was on offense. They hit Brady Old there in the flat. It's a huge run upfield. Eau Claire has a huge effort play, chases it down, then he creates a fumble. That would have put them close to field goal range. So the defense is really just not worrying about what's happening. They're worried about what they need to do each rep, and that's what you have to do to be successful.
And this is what we heard Bob Dice talk about at halftime,
yeah,
right?
Exactly
a whole team effort to get back into it.
Don't worry about anybody else. Worry about yourself.
At the Winnipeg 36, 1st and 10 Bombers. Offense quickly back on after the pick 6. Taking the handoff, completing it. And that's Dalton Schoen who gets it across the 50, closer to midfield. A flag is down.
It's the same play they've hit. That's the 3rd time they've hit this. And it's a A zone play where the quarterback pulls it off the edge. He knows he's going to get somebody coming at him as he sees that, but he knows he's got a wide open throw.
And it's coming back.
Legal interference blocking downfield. Winnipeg, number 10. Prior to the pass was thrown. That's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
And Nick Dembski knowing where the ball was going, what they're trying to set up. I mean, it's almost like an extended screenplay, essentially, and going to Schoen with the ball, but Dembski a little bit early, getting out there with the block. Watch Dembski coming from the bottom of your screen. He's right on the hash mark. Just blocking a little bit early on, I believe it was Douglas Coleman.
1st and 20 now on that 10-yard penalty. Completing that one. Shorter pass up around the 30 to the 31, Rasheed Bailey. So a gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 15 coming up.
Ottawa defense has them right where they want them with a little bit of help from that penalty, but 2nd and extra long here. Great opportunity to get the ball back. We'll see what Baron Miles can dial up.
Their offense has driven the ball well in this second half. They can get the ball back. 2 minutes on the clock. They'd have time. 4-man rush. Claros to the right. And it's complete, and a big first down, Winnipeg. Up near the Bomber 50.
And there's a reason why a large group of these guys have won themselves a couple of Grey Cups. But Dalton Schoen, one receiver, first man closest to the sideline on this one. Push your defender deep. Ball thrown behind, he just works back to it.
And that's the beauty of having a veteran quarterback. They were walling all the inside receivers. They knew, like Zach knew, it was a one-on-one on the outside, so he trusted and gets the ball outside on the perimeter. He knew immediately where to go with the football. He takes his drop and throws it. That's the beauty of having a guy who's seen this picture so many times.
That was their first second down conversion of this second half. Up to the Bomber 50, 135 and counting. 8-point Winnipeg lead on the ground. Brady Oliveira grinds out about 3 more. 2nd down and long coming up.
You talk about that first second down.
Ottawa.
First second down conversion of the half for Winnipeg. Again, clutch play, right? When you need to make certain plays to win. This is a team that has shown over the years the ability to do that.
And Ottawa's done a really good job of making Winnipeg one-dimensional, because Brady Oliveira does not have great numbers today. They haven't been able to get that run established, so Zach's had to do it on the, trying to get some second down conversions.
That last second down was big for Ottawa's defense. This one even bigger. 1:28 on the clock. 2nd and 7. Bombers approaching midfield. Trying to keep a drive going and not give Ottawa's offense a chance.
Yeah, clock critical and field position critical at this point for Ottawa's D.
They keep it on the ground to Oliveira, and like much of this game, he's just had nowhere to go in running the football. So 124, 3rd down now, and the punting team will come out for Winnipeg.
Yeah, you may get people say, well, geez, why are you running the ball here when you haven't run the ball great? Ottawa's already used their timeout. Coach O'Shea wants to run the football, make sure that clock starts again. He'll run as much time down the clock as possible to leave Ottawa's offense not a lot of time to go the length of the field. There you go. The clock started again. They'll run this clock all the way down to leave them take 20 more seconds off the clock. If they would have thrown it, been incomplete, they would have stopped the clock.
So Jamison Sheehan will wait. That clock ticks on 12, 11. Standing just outside his 42 returners back, Scarborough and Dandridge. Sheehan gets it away, and a beautiful punt to chase them deep. Dandridge has it. And spin and gets out at around the 15. A long field with a short amount of time for Dustin Crum and the Ottawa REDBLACKS, needing to get down the field and get in for a touchdown and a chance to tie. The second half of the doubleheader coming up from Mosaic Stadium in Regina. The Stampeders and Riders 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, coming up soon. We're not done quite yet here. And remember that game that went into overtime at McMahon 3 weeks ago? Jake Mayer into the end zone, picked off by Nick Marshall. Ended that. They're both coming off a bye, and they meet again coming up on TSN. So here we go. Dustin Crum, first CFL start. Blitz coming. Has time. Off to the left and complete. Nate Bahar stretching to get out of bounds, and he does. With Abu Durami Soiree on the coverage.
But I just want to go back to the punt for a minute, because it's been interesting to watch the chess match in the punting game, particularly Winnipeg's punt team versus Ottawa's return team. Winnipeg was looking to get the ball on the ground for much of the game, forced Ottawa to go with 2 returners. They continued to try and do that, but there they boom it, force Ottawa to catch the ball deep in their own end because they can't give up a single.
Not an 8-point game. Up the right, complete. Finds the spot. Ackland with the ball. Out of bounds. Another first down for the Red Blacks.
I love this catch from Jalen Ackland. One of the Red Blacks who has really picked things up here in the second half of this ball game, but he makes it look easy, but this is a tough catch. Kind of working toward a corner type angle, but ball coming over his shoulder. He knows a hit's coming in his face.
Quickly again, Bahar. To Mario Houston as Bahar reached out. The ball came loose, but they whistle it dead. Knees down. Trying to stretch out for as much yardage as he can.
They've done a good job of playing max protection. They got 2 backs in the backfield, so Dustin has more time to throw guys, and that's helped them in this second half.
And that's 7 more yards, Bahar, and a 2nd and 3 coming up. This is the 43rd play by Ottawa's offense in the second half compared to 16 for Winnipeg. Complete again and out of bounds. Bahar again, midfield, 24 seconds to go. They need to get close enough for Crum to take a shot at the end zone.
And it's been fun to watch Dustin Crum and the Ottawa REDBLACKS these last 2 weeks. Young guy giving them a chance to win. Back-to-back. Little help from his defense, obviously, here today.
5 straight completions again for Crum.
Oops, sorry, man. My fault.
24 seconds. Has time. Over the middle, complete again. Inside the 40, it's Hardy. They hustle up to the ball. 19 seconds on the clock.
Exact situation Ottawa was in a week ago. Dustin Crum with the ball in his hands in the final minute, down by 8. Can he write a different ending here?
He nearly had the touchdown in that game, using his feet. With his arm now, deeper look, and caught by Bahar. Did he keep his feet in? Yes. A catch for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. They are getting close again. Ottawa's making this interesting with time running out.
Yeah, Bahar right along the sidelines, top of your screen. Drives the defender deep, comes back to it. Well-placed throw by Dustin Crum in a critical moment of this ball game. Here we go.
Earlier this quarter, they got goal to go twice, went for it on 3rd down, and came up with nothing. If they can get in now, they'd have a chance to tie this game, force overtime. It's at the 12. And a 1st and 10. 7 seconds. Willie Jefferson chasing it. Crum takes off. Cuts inside. Touchdown! Touchdown, Ottawa! This time, Crum gets into the end zone. And the REDBLACKS, incredibly, are a 2-point convert away from forcing overtime.
No quit in these Ottawa REDBLACKS. They showed it last week, stopped just short of the goal line on the final play. This time, Dustin Crum will not be denied. Lapo, what are you thinking for a 2-point play? Where are you looking?
I try to use his legs somehow, right? Whether it's a zone read or let him run a quarterback draw. Something that gives him more options than just throwing it to the back of the end zone.
As Dwayne talked about last week in the final play, he couldn't quite get there. This time he does. The REDBLACKS have a chance. It comes down to this. 2-point conversion. Quickly looking in, they get it. We got a tie game. We've got overtime.
The Nate Bahar drive, boy. He made all them catches.
We talked about Nate Bahar off the top as the security blanket for the young quarterback, and at a critical time, who does he go to? Nate Bahar, high percentage, easy throw, tucks it in there. Yeah, you gotta love that. Bobby Dyson, the Ottawa REDBLACKS, coming all the way back.
What a character builder, regardless of how this finishes for the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
OT is so unique because you're not playing full football with the shootout style overtime, but we'll see if they're able to carry over momentum here.
The rules of overtime.
Captains, I have the coin for the overtime period. The league logo is heads. The team logo is tails. Winnipeg, you're the visitors. What's your choice?
Heads.
Heads is the call. It's a tail. Ottawa, you have the choice of offense, defense, or selecting an end. You'll go on defense. What end would you like the first period inning to be played at? At this end. Okay. Winnipeg's on offense at this end.
The REDBLACKS want to go second, of course, to see what they're going to need after this first possession by Winnipeg. 2 mini games. It's tied after the first mini game after 1 possession each. Then they go to a second one. It was a 7-play, 94-yard drive deep in their own zone. Crum leading the way down in under a minute to tie the game.
I would take a look back at this drive. Just great poise by Dustin Crum, but you know, Lapo, you also got to like the receivers stepping up and making plays throughout this.
Yeah, earlier in the game, you know, they had the touchdown drop probably, right? These guys have made catches. There's a couple balls behind them that they made, and then Dustin uses his legs to get in, right? And great play by Nate Bahar, just sitting in the zone, understanding he's got nobody there. Good read by Dustin.
And a quick question for you. You know, conventional wisdom suggests that you want to go second in overtime, know what you need. Would you ever consider going first given the way this game ended?
No, you still want to know how many points you got.
Here we go, overtime. Play fake and off to the left for Tolaris. He completes that to Rashid Bailey.
And real important, those first plays, you do not want to take a sack, lose yardage, because you knock yourself out of even kicking a field goal. So positive play, first down to get them in a good position.
They get 5, so a 2nd and 5 coming up here on the Ottawa 30.
They started big. Now Greg McRae is into the game for Winnipeg, going back to that traditional 5-receiver set.
What a finish here in the nation's capital. My goodness. 2nd and 5. First overtime. Tolaris under pressure. You said don't take the sack. They just took the sack.
Yeah, now you're going to push that to a really long field goal, right? The defense did exactly what they need to do. Force the longest field goal possible, right?
And Zach slow getting up.
Michael Wakefield's the one that got in. Another big defensive play for Ottawa.
Yeah, Wakefield coming from a stand-up, quick swim inside. It looked like Patty Neufeld thought he was going to have to fan out to the right there. He kind of let Wakefield go. So clearly some miscommunication on that Winnipeg offensive line in a critical moment. Michael Wakefield makes them pay.
And so Sergio Castillo comes on to see if he can put 3 on the board here in this overtime for the Bombers. It will be a 48-yard try. Down and perfect. Right through for Castillo. Another clutch kick for him. So the REDBLACKS get a possession in this first mini game, and they'll need at least a field goal. A welcome to viewers on CBS Sports Network tuning in for the Saskatchewan Roughriders Calgary Stampeders. Here in Ottawa, we're not done yet. At one point, the REDBLACKS trailed Winnipeg by 19, and they came back down 16 under 3 minutes to go, including a last-minute drive to tie this game. We're in overtime. Winnipeg has just kicked a field goal in this first mini game. Ottawa football A touchdown would win it. A field goal would force a second mini game. Dustin Crum in his first CFL start. 4 receivers to the right. On the toss left. Devontae Williams breaks a tackle. And he gets it inside the 30.
A nice execution on this little option by Dustin Crum, drawing the edge defender in. Willie Jefferson coming towards the quarterback. Hangs on just long enough to basically free up the edge for Devontae Williams. Nice first down run.
And a gain of 6, a 2nd and 4 coming up. Crum steps up, runs again. Big run, Dustin Crum to give the Ottawa REDBLACKS the victory. Incredible. This is a team that's needed more than a crumb of hope. They got a lot more in their rookie quarterback and this unlikely comeback.
Just yards away from the win or the tie last week in Hamilton. Looking to write a different ending this week, and they did exactly that. Dustin Crum, in his first Canadian Football League start, leads his team back. And here with the winning touchdown in overtime.
He scored the touchdown on the final play of regulation, leading to a 2-point convert to tie it. In this game, he had 9 carries for 103 yards, and he scored 2 touchdowns, including that one, to give the REDBLACKS their 2nd victory of the season, their 2nd straight at home, and they just beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the process.
What a magical moment here in the nation's capital.
Disbelief at TD Place.